All right. Today we are learning lesson 4.29. You'll notice we skipped 4.28. What that means is I'm going to merge some of that material together with the coming lessons because I think we can handle it, okay? Your learning goal today is to be able to divide numbers, any kind of numbers, whole numbers, decimal numbers, fraction numbers, by 1/10 and 1/100th, okay? But first, let's talk about the problem of the day. So, the first thing I want you guys to write down is the problem, which is 7 divided by 0.1. Do you guys agree that that's the same as 7 divided by 1/10?
Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead and write that equivalent. That 7 divided by 0.1 is the same as 7 divided by 1/10. Now, if I have 7 here in my tape diagram, go ahead and draw one. You can see that it's 7 because they're split into 7 units. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units. If I want to split that, I'm dividing 7 into 1/10 sized pieces. So if I want to split this tape diagram, how many pieces do I have to split this one part up into? 10, right? So half, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? So if I did that for each one of these units, how many total pieces would I have? 70, right? Because there are 10 tenths. Oops. Do you guys agree that there are 10 tenths in this section? So, therefore, there are 10 tenths in one whole. So how many tenths are there in 7 holes?
7.
So then there must be 70 tenths in 7 holes. 7 divided by 1/10 equals what? 70. Because there are 70 tenths in 7 holes. Now we have 7.4 divided by 0.1. Do you guys agree that that's the same as 7.4 divided by 1/10?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and write that down. Now let's draw a tape diagram. Just like before, I have 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But this time I also have, I don't have 8, but I have 2, 3, 4 tenths, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I have 4 of these tenths. Up to here is 7 and 4 tenths. Yes? Now we already know based on what we did before. If I split this into 10 tenths, I would know that there are how many tenths in just the 7 up to here? There are 70 tenths in 70. And how many tenths are there in 4 tenths? 4, yeah, right? 4 tenths. So, altogether, how many tenths are there in 7.4? 74. So my answer, 7.4 divided by 1/10 equals 74. Because, remember, when we split this 7.4 up into 1/10 size pieces, we'll get 74 pieces altogether. Now we have 9 divided by 0.1. Okay, how can we write that using fractions? We could say that that's the same as 9 divided by 1/10. Do you guys agree?
Yes.
Okay, so let's draw a tape diagram. We want to do 9 units. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now I have 9 units. And each of those units, I want to divide into how many sized pieces? 10 equal pieces, right? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay? There's 10 tenths in this place. So we can say that there's 10 tenths in one whole. Yes?
Yes.
So then how many tenths are there in 9 holes?
90.
Yeah, 90 tenths in 9 holes. Because if I were to split each of these holes over here into 10 equal pieces, would I get 90 of them? Yeah. So therefore, 9 divided by 1/10 equals 90. Let's check to see if that works with what we know about multiplying by the reciprocal of the divisor. We know that when we have division with fractions, is that what we have here? We multiply the whole, what is the whole? 9, by the reciprocal of the divisor. What's the reciprocal of this divisor? 10. So does that work? So now we've shown that that works using tape diagram, using unit form, and using what we know about the reciprocals. Here we have 12.6 divided by 0.1. Let's just change, let's keep the whole as a decimal, but let's change the divisor into a fraction. Now, what do we have? 12.6 divided by 1 over 10, yes? Okay. Let's try 3 different ways of solving it. First way is a tape diagram. We draw a tape diagram, and we would show that this is 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, 12 sections there. And then let's draw 0.6 at the end. That's 6/10, right? So we can show that this part is 12 and this part is 0.6. See that? Okay. Now, if I were to split one of these sections into tenths, how many tenths would I have? 10 tenths, right? And we can write that using unit form by saying 10 tenths equals 1 whole. Yes? And then, so then how many tenths are there? We actually have 12 wholes. So how many tenths are there in 12 wholes? 120 tenths. Good. But that's not all we have. We also have this part over here. Here we have 6 tenths. So how many tenths are there in 6 tenths? 6 tenths equals 6 tenths. Yes? Okay, so all together in the entire tape diagram, if we have 120 tenths over here and 6 tenths over here, 12.6 in the whole thing, I have how many tenths? 126 tenths. So therefore, if I want to split 12.6 into tenth-sized pieces, my answer is? Nope, not tenths, just 126. Now let's see what we know about multiplying by the reciprocal. We take the whole, which is 12.6, and we need to multiply by the reciprocal of the divisor, which would be 10. When I multiply 12.6 times 10, how does that affect the decimal point? One spot to the right. So my answer is 126. Is it confirmed? Very good. I want you to use this way, where you multiply by the reciprocal of the divisor, as a way to check. Your primary way is using the tape diagram and then the units. So just like we did with the tenths, we can rewrite this as 7 divided by 1 over 100. This time we're working with hundredths, okay? So if we draw a tape diagram, we'll start with 7, right? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Some of you guys are laughing and saying, uh-oh, because now we need to split this 1 into how many pieces? 100. Okay, something like that. So it doesn't make any sense to actually count 100, but what we could write is, how many hundredths are there? 100. So it's very important, you can see, to label it, because there's no way anyone's going to draw and count 100 equal sections there, right? So how many hundredths are there in one whole? 100. So then how many hundredths are there in 7 wholes? 700. So the answer to our division problem, 7 divided by 1/100th, is 700. Let's check our work by doing what we know about multiplying. When we do division with fractions, we multiply what by what? The whole, which is 7, by the reciprocal of the divisor, which is, so 7 times 100 is? 700. When we check our answer, are we confident? Good. That this is the same as 7.4 divided by 1 over 100. Yes? Okay. If we draw a tape diagram, we'll have the same tape diagram we had before. Using what we had before, we know that there are how many hundredths in 7 wholes? 700 hundredths, and right, that's what we did before. But then this time we actually have 4 tenths added on. Okay, this is 0.4. How many hundredths are there in 4 tenths? 40, right? Because if I split this into hundredths, I'll have 40 hundredths. Okay, so if there's 40 hundredths in 4 tenths and 7 hundredths in 7 wholes, how many hundredths do I have altogether?
740 hundredths.
740 hundredths. Good, so the answer is just the number part, which is 740. The reason why we don't need the label is because it's already asking you. If I want to split the 7.4 into hundredth-sized pieces, how many pieces will there be? That's what the division is. If you tell me the answer is 740 hundredths, is that telling me a number of pieces? No. So it's just 740. Let's do what we know about the reciprocal to check. Help me out. The first number we need to deal with, is it the whole or the divisor? It's the whole. What's our whole? And we need to multiply that whole by what?
100.
Nope. By what? The reciprocal of the divisor. So our divisor is 1/100. So the reciprocal is 100. When I multiply by 100, how does that affect the decimal point? It moves 2 spaces to the right. Very good. So my answer is 740. Does that confirm that answer?
Yes.
Very good. Let's use what we already did from our problems before. We know that how many hundredths are there in 7 wholes? 700. And then how many hundredths are there in 4/10? 40. And then how many hundredths are there in 9 hundredths? So then the answer to our division problem, 7.49 divided by 100th equals?
749.
Okay. Let's use what we know to check. How can I rewrite this using fractions? I can say it's 7.49 divided by 1/100. Yes?
Yes.
And so when we divide with fractions, we start with the whole, which is?
7.49.
And we multiply that by the reciprocal of the? So the divisor is 1/100th, so the reciprocal is?
100.
And so when we multiply something by 100, we move the decimal point 2 spots to the right, and so the answer is 749. Does that confirm what we got before?
Yep.
Very good.